Hi everyone, Ryan here. If you've seen any of my previous videos or if you're one of my 33 subscribers, then you probably know I just had the channel under my name before. I didn't really do anything spectacular on there. I uploaded an off-road video here or there, maybe a quick shot of something that I just did, kind of how it worked. What was missing there was the contents, the reasons behind why I was doing something or the ideas that I had in my mind before I did it. What the solution was, why I wasn't going out and buying something else. So I kind of got to thinking that, a lot of the YouTube videos out there, they talk about going out and buying a part or why this high-end part is best. Well, I don't think like that. I think of, if I can't find a solution for something, then I go out and look at what I can purchase. I usually try to make something myself. So if you're familiar with the term Shadetree mechanic, that's someone that does some things in their backyard, maybe in their shop. They're not necessarily professional. They're not someone that you would find at a dealership that's following a script. They're just finding a solution to get them by, get their vehicle on the road. Not necessarily unsafe, not necessarily unreliable, but they're just thinking outside the box, not following what classical training would tell you to do. And that's kind of how I've always been. So I changed the name of my channel to Shadetree Overland Offroad because I do have this FJ80 that I plan on doing, an overland type build with. I don't plan on getting a rooftop tent and things like that, but I do plan on exploring, camping out of it. At the same time, I have a diesel swapped 4Runner that's kind of been a trail truck for many years. I rolled it a few years ago and kind of have to start from square one with the body on it. So I'll be taking that and doing a cage and those types of things to it to try to get it back on the trails. So that's going to be the focus of my channel. Going to try to be more serious, going to try to cover more angles. At the same time, hopefully I'll be showing how things are tested as well. Be going out and doing some of that exploring, doing some off-roading, doing some walk-arounds with people, kind of talking about why they chose the modifications that they did. And I hope to cover more of those mechanical-minded people that aren't necessarily going out and buying the latest and greatest things. They're coming up with their own solutions, making things fit. So yeah, that's that. That's why I've changed things to Shadetree Overland and Offroad. And I hope that you enjoy the content going forward. Some of the things I'm looking at doing here in the near future for videos. First, I need to do a lift on my 80 here. I'm just finishing up the 6.5 diesel swap, and one of the issues I'm having is the oil pan is too close to the flange on the front differential. So I'm hoping that the caster correction and a 3-inch lift is going to fix that for me. I may have to do a different oil pan on my transmission, but we'll see. There's a lot of issues with that though. I'll get into those here in a second. Another video I want to do is, once I do have the suspension lift on here, I want to drive up to my father's house. It's about 2 hours from here. Do an MPG type loop type thing. And one of the things we're going to do also, and I'm hoping to make a video on, is I'm taking the front springs off of my 80 series Land Cruiser to him so that we can try to fit them to the rear of his 3rd gen 4Runner. That's supposed to give about 3 inches of lift. These are the, I guess, the smaller springs that you can get since this is a 91. And they're a little bit lighter than the later 80 series Land Cruisers. So hopefully make a video of that, maybe do a walk around of his new to him, mostly stock 3rd gen 4Runner. I've got a couple of beads leaking on this 80 series as well after going on a trip to the Gulches in South Carolina. And I want to do a video on how to repair those, how to make sure that it is the bead that's leaking, not something else. And I just want to do kind of a walk around video after I'm completely finished here and show what I've done for the 6.5 swap. Now let me go back to the lift real quick. That's one of the first things I've got to do here to finish up this build, this part of the build. It's never really done. But so I ordered, first let me go back. I was looking for just the coils at first. I just wanted to get the lift in there, get it sitting a little bit higher. I didn't care about shocks. I didn't care about caster. I just needed the room so I could kind of measure things and see where things were going to sit. After looking around, seeing that most manufacturers were on back order, shipping times are so long, this is, because of the pandemic going on, there are a lot of issues. So I eventually decided, you know what, I'm going to order a Dobinson's IMS kit. It actually said it was in stock. So I thought maybe this was a prepackaged set and had everything I needed and it would get shipped out. Well, come to find out after I order it, the rear coils, which I couldn't get a loan because they were on back order, were going to hold up the package from shipping. So that went on for about a month. I kept getting updates saying that they were expecting a shipment anytime. This was during that whole Panama Canal ship getting stuck issue and all that, so I could understand that things kept kind of getting pushed back. Everything was. So I eventually said, you know what, the front is what's really important to me. Right now, all I can tell is that the rear springs, and they were telling me that the rear springs were the only thing holding it up. Rear end set a little high on this already. I've got seats out of it. I've got no rear bumper. So I said, you know what, just send me everything else and send me the rear coil springs when they're available. Can you do that? And they said, yes, that would be no problem. So that was about 2 weeks ago. And I've been watching my order like a hawk since then, trying to figure out when these were going to ship so I could finish this up. I'm ready to get it on the road, do some driving, see how things work, and I've got a lot of fine-tuning adjustments that I've got to make once I get it on the road and see how things work. Who knows? Maybe this setup isn't going to work at all once I get to driving it. Anyway, Friday I get notification that my order has shipped and it's going to be here by Tuesday. I'm so happy. Well, it's Sunday today, and I get notification this morning that my package is out for delivery. Oh, wow. I'm thinking I'm going to be driving this thing tonight. Well, package gets delivered probably around 9:30, 10 a.m. this morning. It's a lot smaller than I expected. Opened it up. Look at the part number. It's just the coil springs for the rear, the ones that were on back order. So I'm thinking that somehow, my package was already marked as shipped that had everything else in it, or it's sitting somewhere waiting to ship. So I contacted Dobinson's orders department through their email address. It's Sunday. I doubt anybody's going to look at it today, but hopefully tomorrow I'll know. But I went ahead and pulled the wheels off and everything, getting ready for doing front suspension. I was going to get the arms off today and press the bushings out so I could do the new caster correction bushings right away when the package got here and kind of get everything ready for that. But now I'm going to put the wheels back on and go ahead and put the rear springs on. But like I said, I'll be taking video of that and I'll post that as soon as I can. Hopefully, everything else is already shipped and maybe got separated. I know they hire some contractors to do some small packages on the weekends. FedEx does. That's who it came through. So I'm hoping that that package is already on the way, and I'll just get good news tomorrow when they come in saying that the rest of the shipment should arrive any time. My order actually says it's fully delivered now, which is kind of concerning, but we'll see. So with all that said, if you want to see those videos, obviously subscribe. I'll be posting content as much as I can in the near future with this. My Forerunner, whenever I start getting into that, I do plan on building an off-road, a redneck toy hauler, as they call them, in the near future, which is a gooseneck with the living quarters in the front. I've been on the lookout for purchasing one of those. So what do I got to do now? Well, I covered the lift. The other thing I want to cover is, where the 80 build is. So right now, as I mentioned before, I pulled the 3FE engine out of here about a month ago with a little help from one of the local overland groups. We got that out of there, and it took us about a day. I cleaned everything up in there, got the bay painted, got the hood off. There's some broken bolts. Here, for example, that you can see here, I've got to drill those out and tap them. They're just not coming out, so I'm just going to drill and tap to the next standard size up. The 6.5 itself is good. It runs good. Had a little bit of knocking at first, which is because of the new injectors. That cleared up after adding some 2-cycle oil and running it a little bit more. I can only run it around the property right now. I've got wood blocks shoved in underneath the bump stops just so that the differential flange does not hit the oil pan. Wiring is pretty much all done. I've got temperature, I've got oil pressure. I've got to rewire the glow plugs. I had them on a switch, but I want to put them on a button and move them over to the left side of the dash. So right now I've just got a wire. I've got to connect to positive whenever I want to start it, just for the glow plugs. But pumps are all wired up. I have no check engine light. I've got a 3-in-1 gauge from Glow Shift that I've hooked up. I've got a temp and pressure gauge. I've got the temp hooked up to the water temperature right now, the coolant temperature, and then the pressure gauge is going to go into my main fuel line coming up to the engine just to make sure my lift pump is functioning as it should. That's a common issue with these. That's it. I've got some wiring to go through. I've got some hoses that I didn't have clamps for when I put them on, so I'm going to be clamping those, but primarily it's just the suspension I'm waiting on. After that, I'm going to be driving. So that's an update on the 6.5. I'll do a quick, couple pictures for this video to kind of show where things are, how things are looking, but that's a wrap. So Shadetree Overland and Offroad going forward. I'm going to try to focus on what I can do to help you guys with your builds, show you what I'm doing for mine. Hope to get it out soon, do a shakedown run, do some off-roading, and hope to invite you guys along too. I'm living in the southeast now. I haven't been on many trails out here, so I'm going to be kind of learning as I go, doing research, finding out what trails are good for my type of rig. And as I do that, I want to take videos of those. I want to bring you guys along for the rides, or see if I can tag along with you on some of your adventures. Another thing I think I'm going to bring up here is, a friend of mine, and myself and a friend of mine have been tossing around the ideas of maybe doing some guided type tours, maybe doing some classes. I've got at this new house, I've got an area where we can sit outdoors under some shelter and discuss some of these things. So I might do some classes out here. We might go do some of these guided tours and stop along the way and do some instruction. He's got a lot more overland experience than I do, but I've got a lot more mechanical experience that I want to add. We're both veterans. I myself did combat lifesaver courses and tactical combat casualty care courses, so hope to bring some of that in, and maybe some emergency roadside vehicle repair, basic recovery type things, and just overall trail etiquette. How to keep people in your rear view mirror, how to make sure the convoy stays together, how to poop in the woods. Those are all very important things. So stay tuned. I've got a lot of ideas, and hopefully I've got some other people that want to get involved as well. So I look forward to it. I hope it all works out. See you on the trails.